This will feel personal, because it is. Your brain shapes money choices in real time, often without you noticing. Over the next 12 minutes, we'll reveal the loop behind impulse buys, skipped bills, and the promises you tell yourself you'll start saving. There's a simple way to outsmart it without quitting your life. Think of it as a quiet system at work in the background, nudging you toward quick wins while the future drifts out of view. This isn't a failure story. Your brain isn't failing you. It's running a fast, survival-driven program built for speed in a world of endless tiny choices. It shows up at the checkout and in your bank app when you least expect it, nudging you toward the easy path. This payoff you can feel in the opening moments isn't about blame or luck. It's a design problem. Our minds have learned to treat instant relief as a win, while future money sits distant, hazy, and unreliable by comparison. That means we celebrate today, while the plan for tomorrow stays quiet. When a purchase promises instant relief or a quick thrill, your brain treats it as a win. Tomorrow's money feels vague, distant, and fragile by comparison. So you buy, skip the hard task, and celebrate the hit, while quietly promising to start saving later. The problem isn't a lack of effort. It's a setup that makes the easy option feel irresistible. Small wins arrive fast, but they hollow out the big gains you want. If you rely on willpower alone, you'll keep hitting the same wall. If you take one thing away, saving and spending are two separate battles. The brain loves short wins more than long ones, and the trick is designing life so the long wins show up a little more often than the short hits. That setup changes the odds. With that frame in mind, we turn to Chapter 2 and ask why this pattern takes root in the first place. What inside the brain makes the shortcut so tempting, and how does the world arrange itself to push you toward it? We'll unpack that next. Think of it as a compass that quietly points toward quick relief. In the coming chapters, we unpack the forces behind the lure and lay out a map for what comes next. And yes, we'll check in with that compass again when the road gets tricky. Present bias is the first bite of the pattern. The near term feels more valuable, more urgent, than whatever comes next. A sale you do not need can flood your senses, while a long-term goal sits on the back burner, quiet and patient. Loss aversion, the fear of missing out, pushes you to grab today what might vanish tomorrow. It's not a neat math problem, it's a reflex that says act now or you risk regret. Default bias is the quiet push to keep things moving in the same direction. It's easier to ride the current than to swim upstream, especially when nerves are tired and the environment never asks you to pause. We tag every small spend with a little story, a mini narrative of victory or sacrifice, instead of seeing money as a single living flow toward bigger goals. That makes the money feel personal and future you quiet. We also see this pattern in the world around us. Advertisers tune interfaces to press the right levers, apps offer micro-rewards, and the ordinary environment arranges itself into a sequence of cheap thrills that train your brain to expect a quick rush. All of that compounds on a quiet daily level. Your brain learns the quickest path to relief, the momentary hit of satisfaction. So you start seeking those hits again and again, even when the price is your future budget. The payoff feels seductive and invisible at first. The cost, over time, becomes visible in your bank balance, growing debt, and the chances you skip experiences you care about because you chose instant comfort instead of a future you'd actually enjoy. Now, hold on to a single image as we move into the third chapter. Money is a garden. Some days you water the flowers, other days you pull weeds. The brain's shortcuts are stubborn weeds even when the soil is rich. Chapter 3 begins with a sober frame. The cost isn't just what you spend this week. It's the hidden price of inaction, the slow eroding of options you count on when life shifts or emergencies arrive. Second, it isn't only debt, it's missed chances. The vacation you could have funded, the down payment you could have seen become real, the cushion you could have built for a medical surprise or a job layoff. Fourth, there's a quiet reputational cost. When money feels tight, anxiety colors decisions in other parts of life, turning ordinary choices into little tests you feel pressured to pass. Cognitive cost isn't dramatic on paper, but it lands as mental fatigue. Carrying around the question of what to do with money, sighs, second guesses, and restless planning eats mental bandwidth you could use for the conversations and goals you want. Emotional toll slips in as well. Frustration when goals drift, guilt after impulse buys, and a quiet nagging sense that you're not steering your life toward what you actually value. To make this concrete, Picture two people starting with the same paycheck and the same goals. Over months, one builds friction into spending, the other relies on willpower, and their paths diverge in small, telling ways. One person designs friction in the path to spending, with deliberate rules, automatic transfers, and a guardrail that's easy to follow. These aren't penalties, they are gentle rails that nudge you toward a future you can depend on. The other relies on sheer willpower and a hopeful belief that this time it will be different. Over months, the friction designer gains a steady rhythm and quiet confidence, while the wishful struggler trips over the same blocks. Here's the core shift. The difference isn't luck, it's structure. The brain craves a simple, reliable loop, and when you give it one, you convert potential into momentum, helping your future self win more often. That distinction, cost and payoff, shows you don't need to chase a new self. You change your surroundings and routines, and your money starts following a calmer, predictable course. Let me carry you forward with the garden image again. Money isn't a battlefield, it's a garden you tend. Small daily tasks keep the soil fertile, and big decisions become less earthquake-like when you've built the right routines. The garden doesn't demand heroic acts. It asks for regular, small, purposeful work. Water this week, prune a little next, and watch the growth accumulate in quiet, almost invisible ways that add up to real momentum. That rhythm isn't a sprint, it's a sustainable pace you can live with. The payoff arrives as steady savings, steadier bills, and a growing sense that money is moving toward your bigger life, not pulling you away from it. So here are the core ideas to hold on to as we move into the next chapter. Design a loop that makes saving easy. Create fiction for big spends, track progress with a simple visual, and invite a trusted friend into the process for calm accountability. Chapter 4 begins by changing the premise, from willpower alone to a reliable system your brain can trust. The aim isn't punishment, it's predictability. So decisions feel lighter because the paths are clear and the outcomes feel closer. These aren't grand moral lessons. They're a practical toolkit that treats money as a system you can tune, with dead simple rules, visible targets, and small nudges that keep momentum steady without demanding fanatic self-discipline. Move to Make Now opens with a move that sounds almost comically simple. Pick one action you can start today and commit to it as your new baseline. The real trick is reliability, not perfection, and that begins with a single, doable step. That move is to set up an automatic transfer the moment your paycheck hits, moving a small chunk into a dedicated savings vehicle before you ever see the money in your checking. Tiny in the moment, powerful in the long run. Keep the amount tiny enough to feel painless, but meaningful enough to matter. The goal isn't perfection, it's consistency. So you notice money leaving your account in a way that accumulates without sting and quietly changes what you think is possible. If you can't bear it right this minute, set a date and a timetable. 1 week from now, you'll have automation in place. A concrete deadline makes the plan feel tangible, almost physical, and it removes the guesswork from your morning. That single action shifts your relationship to money from a constant test of restraint to a steady partnership with a plan you can trust. It replaces guesswork with rhythm, and rhythm with a growing sense of earned control. And as a disciplined scaffold, pair this action with a lightweight check-in. Each week, spend a few minutes looking at one chart that shows where your money is going and one line that tracks progress toward your goal. Don't turn this into a lab experiment, but don't skip the visibility either. The brain learns from what it can see and touch, so keep the dashboard simple and the numbers real, not abstract, so progress feels tangible. If this changed how you think about money, subscribe. We publish 3 videos every week, and the conversations keep going. When you sign on, you join a small crew learning to guide their money with calm, steady, practical steps.